What is different about this election compared to past elections, and how has the model had to change to account for that?
So in some ways, it's not that different. This is the third election in a row with Donald Trump as a Republican nominee. So far, he's 1 for 2, rather, 1 and 1, one win, one loss. So from my naive perspective, you might say, okay, well, the odds are probably about 50-50 again. And that's probably what we're getting. I mean, so it's not that the model changes so much as that the conditions change. One thing that we saw in 2016, obviously, is that Hillary Clinton won the popular vote that year and lost the Electoral College. That is probably a persistent problem for Democrats in a world where they turn out the college-educated coalition in California, New York, places like that, places where they wind up having a lot of wasted votes. So the GOP, more populist coalition, is more efficient. So therefore, you bet on Harris to win the popular vote, as Democrats usually do, but the Electoral College is about 50-50.
Wow. It's kind of a running meme that nobody knows anyone who's answered a political poll, and yet the entire country seems to sort of hang on this kind of data. What's going on here? Do you need to control for the kind of people who pick up unknown phone calls? Do you decide on who to sample? Like, do people sign up to get polled? Do they pick up less calls than 10 years ago? This whole sort of concept seems quite archaic given to how much weight we give to it, which leads me to believe that we either shouldn't be giving so weight to it, or there is a large misunderstanding about how it actually works.
No, I don't think you're misunderstanding. I mean, so look, in principle, if you poll 800 people, because of the magic of statistics, that can give you, with a margin of error, a good indication of how the whole country would vote. The problem, though, what you're getting at, is that a lot of people are not equally likely to respond to phone calls. If you just call people on landlines, like, you'll get a lot of old white women picking up and not many other people. Women tend to answer the phone from strangers more than men do, and older people more than younger people. So most calls now are either done on the internet, are done to cell phones, or pollsters have gone to various online methods. But that's harder. In the golden age, you could literally ring someone's phone up and be like, I'm from the Gallup agency. I'd like to survey the woman with the next birthday in the household. And actually people would answer calls from strangers. And this just not really a thing anymore. And so, yeah, the people that respond to polls are weird. And well, it's kind of a weird thing to do. And you have to make some sausage out of that mincemeat, basically.
Yeah, I understand. What is the truth behind most people are just protest voting now, that it's not a vote for love of one party, it's a vote of hate for the other?
I think there's a lot of that. There's a lot of negative polarization. Politics in the United States operates a lot on grievance, and grievance goes a long way. Yeah, you're not telling people they're going to fulfill their wildest dreams so much as saying the other guy is too scary, and so it's a moral imperative.
Yeah, the other guy's going to fulfill your nightmares, not that we're going to come up with the solution.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very... what's the implication for that around messaging, do you think? What's downstream from that?
I mean, the parties are a little bit different in the sense that, Democrats, I think, tend to... If you look at the big five personality traits, right, they're sorted a little bit by party. So Democrats are higher on neuroticism or negative emotionality. And so a lot of themes in their commercials are trying to touch on people's anxieties and say, hey, remember what happened in 2016 where you thought we were going to win and Hillary lost. Whereas the GOP is more is low on openness to experience. So they might touch more on anti-immigration or, hey, change is scary. You can't trust Kamala Harris. And so both campaign messages fit the party's respective personality types.
Yeah. What are the most important battleground topics this year? Which issues do different cohorts of voters care about the most?
For Democrats, the single best issue is probably abortion. A lot of moderate voters, especially younger women, did not approve of the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade a couple of years ago. And for the GOP, immigration is almost undoubtedly their best issue. They aren't necessarily always talking about it in the most elevated ways necessarily, but people are concerned about the influx of immigrants into the United States.
So, we're talking about you, a very sophisticated, highly credentialed, very smart statistician, but largely just some bloke, right? That's out there in the ether doing this thing and writing a great Substack and also a fantastic new book. how much or how sophisticated are the parties individually? Can they do what you do, or are they downstream from you? Are they subscribed to Silver Bulletin as well and just like hoping for the best?
No, look, I'm sure they're doing their own modeling. In sports, you have this kind of Moneyball story of where for a long time in sports, you had outside authors using statistics and things like that. And the insiders were very vibes and field driven. In politics, it's kind of the opposite. The media is very vibes driven, and the campaigns are more data driven. So I'm sure they have versions of what I do that are probably pretty similar.
This episode is brought to you by Element. Stop having coffee first thing in the morning. Your adenosine system that caffeine acts on isn't even active for the first 90 minutes of the day, but your adrenal system is, and salt acts on your adrenal system. Element contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio of sodium, potassium, and magnesium with no sugar, no gluten, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, or any other BS. It plays a critical role in reducing muscle cramps and fatigue while optimizing brain health, regulating appetite, and curbing cravings. The orange flavor in a cold glass of water is literally the best way to start your morning. I've done it every single day for over 3 years now, way before they were a partner on the show, and I love it. Best of all, there is a no BS, no questions asked refund policy, so you can buy absolutely risk-free, and if you do not like it for any reason, they will give you your money back, and you don't even need to return the box. Right now, you can get a free sample pack of all 8 flavors with your first box by going to the link in the description below or heading to drinklmnt.com/modernwisdom. That's drinklmnt.com/modernwisdom. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed that clip, you will love the full-length podcast in all its glory, which is available right here. Go on. Press it.